So on that morning, when my sister and I decided to take a walk to the lake, the last thing we expected to find was a dead body. But that is what we found frozen in the lake. So, let's see, this was Sturbridge, 1977. My sister and I were 13 and 14-year-old juvenile delinquents. I was a very mischievous child, and I was also an altar boy, all at the same time. So, Sundays were when we went to visit my father's house after the divorce, and on Sunday we decided to go get some exercise and walk to the lake, because that's what juvenile delinquents did for exercise. So we walked to the lake, and we got more exercise with our twist when we got down there, because we had to put them out. About 20 feet from us, when we got to shore, we could see a dead body frozen in the lake. Not a good thing to see. I mean, even for a juvenile delinquent, it was kind of shocking to see this dead body there. So this was pre-cell phone days. We went back to Dad's house and called the police, and all of the police showed up, not just from that small town of Sturbridge, but it seemed like from all of the surrounding towns. There were a lot of police there. One of the detectives came over to my sister and I and asked us about the evidence at the crime scene. Do you know anything about these cigarette butts over here? Well, of course, we are juvenile delinquents, so we had no problem lying right to the police's face. Of course, we have no idea about these cigarette butts. As a matter of fact, we won last month's contest for no smoking posters at our school. So, we're innocent. Well, the police proceeded to dig through the ice and discovered that the body with this little round head that was poking up through the ice actually was just a round mound of a dog that had fallen through. So the juvenile delinquent in me obviously was disappointed at the anticlimactic ending of this, but the altar boy was sad for the dog. So the following week, we thought we could bring a little more excitement to the neighborhood, because that wasn't enough excitement. So it was around Halloween time, I had some Halloween makeup, and I positioned my sister at the bottom of the cellar stairs, upside down, with the makeup on her head, and it looked really good, like her head was split open for sure. But before doing that, or it might have been right after, I took the bag of potatoes he kept at the top of the stairs and positioned it so that there were potatoes going down the stairs, making it look obvious she had tripped and fallen down. So it was really good. He got home. Oh, actually, I don't know if I told you. Dad went to the dump, because where does the Lone Ranger take his trash? To the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump. Well, that was a dad joke I grew up with, that kind of joke. But anyway, Dad wasn't really amused at this joke. He looked down the bottom of the cellar stairs after I ran out to the driveway. Dad, come quick! And the expression on his face and the whiteness in his face, I knew I learned a lesson never to do that again. His face looked like my current picture from my BJ's ID. It's just white as a ghost. You can't even see a face there. So I didn't do that to him again, but Mom wasn't spared from eye hijinks either. So when she decided to take us all for a ride to the Tandy Leatherworks factory in Watertown, which I found interesting because we lived on Water Street in a different town, but anyway. In the back of the van in the 70s, this was pre-seatbelt use, and there were no screens, we had no cell phones, so I was bored, so I decided to entertain myself. I went in the back window, and I took some duct tape, the nice silver shiny kind, put it right over my mouth, and I got in the back window, and I put my hand behind my back with my eyes bugging out, until I got the attention of a truck driver who apparently believed my next award-winning performance because he called the state police. And I know this because I was told later they showed up at my mother's house looking for me. I wasn't there. I was at the neighbors playing, and you might think the police would have checked to see, is she telling the truth, or was I some kidnapped victim in the basement of her house? But no, they believed her. She said nobody would ever kidnap this annoying child. They would give him back right away. He apparently believed her. He did not investigate any further. So the moral of this story is, when you run into a mischievous child who looks like an altar boy type, you may have a little juvenile delinquent in him. If you meet a juvenile delinquent type, you may have a little altar boy in him. We're all good and bad, and we're all human.